Buongiorno, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the best and worst releases in 2022 when it comes to fragrances. So we are going to talk about 5 fragrances that I consider the best that were released in 2022, as well as the 5 worst ones. This is part of my 7 Days of Christmas series where I do a recap of the whole year. So best releases, best discoveries, most used fragrances, most used products, all that good stuff. So if you don't want to miss any of these episodes, then please consider subscribing and also hit the notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. You will find in the description down below a playlist of this series, as well as some recommended videos that I talked about during this episode. And without further ado, let's start. As usual, I'm going to start on a positive note and I am going to talk about the 5 best releases. On number 5, we have Bulgari Bacciami. This is a series of the Allegra line from Bulgari. It's kind of their private collection, I guess. It's more expensive than their regular fragrances. And the idea behind this line in general is that you can mix the fragrances with their essences. So they have the regular fragrances and then they have the magnifying essence, which are one note in particular, and you can mix and match to modify a fragrance. I have actually a video dedicated on this line. You will find it in the description down below. I will also leave it in the eye up here. And Bacciami is, in a nutshell, a vanillic gardenia. It's quite a simple fragrance in the sense that it's not complex. There's not a lot of notes here. It's mostly vanilla and gardenia, very, very heavy vanilla. It's very creamy, very loud and very sweet gardenia. So it's definitely a fragrance for those who love gardenia and also love sweet fragrances. And although I am saying it's one of the best releases in 2022, I am not going to buy this fragrance because I am not into these sweet, overly sweet fragrances. But I can definitely see how people may like this fragrance. And it's actually one of the best gardenia fragrances, objectively speaking. On number 4, we have a Tom Ford fragrance. So Tom Ford came out this year with 3 rose fragrances. And the one that I absolutely loved is Rose de Chine. So the rose from China, and it's actually an ode to peonies. I don't know, I didn't expect much when I tested this fragrance, so I was so pleasantly surprised by it. I expected to love more Rose d'Amalfi, which is more powdery and it's fresh. At least from the notes, this is what I felt like the fragrance will smell. But I definitely prefer Rose de Chine. It's a gorgeous rose peony fragrance. It's spicy, kind of an oriental rose, but still soft and fresh. And this is why I love it so much. And it's actually on my wish list. One of the best releases, in my opinion, in 2022, for sure. On number 3, we have Kayali Lovefest Burning Cherry 48. I don't have the best luck with Kayali fragrances in general, and every time I test a fragrance and I don't like it, I say to myself, okay, I'm done with Kayali. I will not test any new Kayali fragrances. And guess what? I always fall for the hype. I mean, the marketing team of Kayali is really good. And guess what? The one fragrance that I ignored is this one. And I absolutely love it. This is why I only tested it quite recently and I immediately fell in love with it. If you love fragrances like Lost Cherry from Tom Ford, you will definitely like this one. It's in the same realm like Lost Cherry, but to me it's more woody. It has this dark, mysterious side to it that I absolutely love. It's definitely gourmand, but not as gourmand like Lost Cherry. Lost Cherry for me has a very, very edible opening, but in the dry down I get more of the woods. The same goes for this one, but it's definitely less gourmand. You get the woods right from the start, and it's, I think, the Palo Santo that makes the difference here. Honestly, I can't choose between the two. Both I love. Sometimes I say, okay, I love more Lost Cherry. Other times I say, no, I love this one more. And it's definitely a compliment magnet and very, very sexy. So as a scent, this is definitely one of the best releases of 2022. I ranked it actually only on number 3 and not higher because of the performance. It does not perform very well, unfortunately. So as Lost Cherry, we have some performance issues. And of course, if you love Lost Cherry and the price tag was too much for you, actually Tom Ford fragrances are ridiculously priced. This is definitely more affordable. Number 2, I have a Magenta Tanzanite from Armani PRIVE. I love this one so much. This is all about like a spicy vanilla. So you have vanilla, you have cardamom, you have cinnamon, you have tobacco and coffee. So I always describe this fragrance as Louis Rouge, but with added coffee and tobacco. I know that people say that cinnamon is the most like predominant note in this fragrance. I mean, it's there, but it's not like the first thing that I smell, let's say. I get mostly vanilla and cardamom here. And then, yeah, it's vanilla and cardamom mostly. And then I get a little bit of the tobacco and the coffee note. It's definitely on the gourmand side if we compare it to, for example, Louis Rouge. And it has a really, really good performance. So it checks all the boxes. So if you love spicy vanillas and you are okay with tobacco and coffee, this is definitely for you. Love it. Magenta Tanzanite from Armani PRIVE. Can you guess what is for me the best release in 2022? Of course. Narciso Rodriguez Musc Noir Rose. Okay. This is for me a masterpiece. So last year Narciso came out with Musc Noir and it was the best release in 2021, and I could have never imagined that Narciso can actually create something even better, but he did. So I definitely prefer this one to Musc Noir. I actually would recommend it over it because it's even a better version of Musc Noir, if that is even possible. Here it's a little bit, of course, rose, a little bit of tuberose. It has also vanilla, so it's a little bit more warm, slightly sweeter. It's more floral, but still very elegant. Musky floral fragrance that is like, it's an extremely elegant and put together fragrance. Very versatile. You can wear it in any occasion, in any time of the year. So it's just a stunning fragrance. I can wear it for bed. I can wear it running errands. I wear it with like casual outfits, with elegant outfits, for special occasions. I mean, it's the most versatile scent in my collection. This is also for me the best Narciso fragrance, hands down. Now, the only issue with this fragrance is the performance. It's not like bad. It's definitely better than original Musc Noir, but not much, let's say. So it's kind of a moderate longevity and sillage, but I don't care. I don't care. It's so gorgeous that I don't care about anything else, about longevity or sillage or anything. Definitely a masterpiece, and I highly, highly recommend it. I have a full review on it. I will leave it in the description down below and also in the eye up here if you want to see more details about this gorgeous scent. Now let's talk about the worst releases. And please remember, fragrances are subjective, guys. And I actually was wondering if I should do this category this year because I struggled a little bit with the releases in 2022. The majority of the releases were okay, nice, meh. So not extremely bad fragrances, but also, except of the ones that I talked about, not out of this world gorgeous scents, you know? Yeah, so I can describe 2022 as the year of the meh releases. So I did a list of all the new releases and the ones that I tested or I have, whatever. And I just chose what I consider the worst from this list. But remember, not all of these are bad releases, except of one. No, two. Two. So there are only two that I would consider bad releases. The rest is just or unnecessary, or yeah, they could have done a better job in my opinion. So on number 5, I went with Armani My Way Floral. It's not that I consider it a bad release, but it's just unnecessary. It's so similar to the original one that it's just like totally unnecessary. And I think this flanker will not like remain in the collection for a long time because I don't know, it's just unnecessary, totally unnecessary release. So it's a fail in my book. Next is the Valentino Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. I don't know what is going on with Valentino. I mean, he has Born in Roma, which I know a lot of people don't like. I personally love it. Find it one of the best designer fragrances, best of the sexy designer fragrances. And then he had Donna Aqua, which is discontinued, and it's a gorgeous scent. And yes, and last year was it Yellow Fantasy that also was in, like, I think in my worst list. And this year is not very different. Very synthetic, very cheap smelling. No. It's not even special as a scent for me even to like say, okay, it's maybe synthetic, but the scent profile is nice or new. Just a big fail for me. I hope Valentino will come out again with Valentino Donna Aqua, one of my favorite fragrances of all time actually. Then let's talk about this one. So the new flanker of a drop the Easy from Easy Miyake. So here I have the original one, which is one of my absolute favorite fragrances of all time. I love it. The powdery, feminine, such a gorgeous scent and my go-to bed scent. So when they came out with a flanker, I blind bought it and I was so disappointed. So this is like the Fraiche version. And they added, I don't know, rain and some synthetic notes. No. Yes, it has the same DNA like the original one, but these added notes make it smell very cheap, very synthetic. So like what made the original one so special is totally overshadowed by these notes and next fragrance. So one of like the biggest fails in my opinion in 2022 will be a shock for a lot of people, and it is La Belle Fleur Terribile. I have actually no words for how disappointed I am with this release. I love the original La Belle. I also really like the Intense version or Le Parfum. And the bottle and everything. I was waiting for this fragrance to be finally released, and it took so much time to arrive to Italy. And when it arrived and I tested, first thing to mention, it has nothing to do with La Belle. They could have given it another name. It shares, to my note, nothing with La Belle. And it's very strange, synthetic smelling mess to me. I actually can't understand the hype behind this thing except for the bottle. I mean, the bottle is so gorgeous that sometimes I'm saying like, okay, should I buy the fragrance only for the bottle? And I have like to convince myself that it is ridiculous to buy a fragrance only for the bottle. To me, it's a big mess synthetic fragrance and I would never recommend it actually. Now, the worst release of 2022, drum roll. It's again TRUSSARDI Pure Jasmine. Yes, last year it was the worst release, was TRUSSARDI, what was it called? Donna? I don't remember. It was one of the worst releases, one of the worst fragrances I've ever smelled in my life, to be honest. And guess what? I then read that it got some rewards or something, and I was like, huh? How? I don't know. I don't know how this like reward system goes, but that was like one of the worst fragrances I've ever smelled in my life. Now this year they came out with a flanker, and it's called Pure Jasmine, and it's not as bad as like the original one, but it's a very weird smelling fragrance. So it's jasmine, but it has almost like a metallic feeling to it in a way. It's super weird. Like, the best way I can describe this fragrance is you are like in a jasmine field or something, and you are chewing like a metallic bubblegum. You know, I know it doesn't exist, but imagine something like that. So it's such a weird combination and such a weird fragrance. So this is for me definitely the worst release in 2022. So honestly, considering that these are the worst releases, it's not as bad in my opinion as last year's list, but still, overall this year was a big disappointment for me overall. So that was it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumb up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. If you enjoyed this video, you will find down below a playlist of the rest of the series. And also you will find 2 videos here that I would recommend to watch if you loved this one. Please tell me in the comments down below, what do you think about the fragrances that I talked about, and what is, according to you, the best and worst releases in 2022. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time. Ciao!